What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your friendly neighborhood reptile here, back again with yet another video. This one's gonna be a little bit different to the usual videos that I do. Um, as you can see my game consoles right here. This video is actually it's not like actually sponsored, but I do want to give them a huge shout out since I do have a lot of their cables. This goes out to LevelHike. This is the company that I mentioned so many times in my videos, and in short, this is the company that's responsible for developing HDMI cables for older consoles to upscale them to an HD resolution, usually up to 720p. I'm not sure if they'll ever do 1080p, but I'd say 720p actually looks really good. Like, you can still put your videos up at 180, it'll still look like emulator quality. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it can still, I mean, I wouldn't say maybe that sharp, but it still looks really good. It still looks really good. So that's why I highly recommend them, because they're easy plug and play. You don't have to mod your consoles or anything like that. All you do is just plug them into your consoles and just let the magic commence. Now, they do have USB power supplies and everything on there, so that way it can actually like work and upscale the systems. So I highly recommend you make sure you have some USB power. You can usually plug it into the back of your TV, but that's about it. But yeah, I got this is the this one right here is the 3-in-1 cable, which is for the GameCube, the Super Nintendo, and the Nintendo 64, which again, it looks really awesome. I think the N64 is the hardest one to do. It's not like the best, but it works, but it does work. I think the GameCube and the Super Nintendo looked a little better, but not by a whole lot, but it still looks a little bit better than the N64. The Sega Saturn one is actually one of my favorites so far. Actually, the Sega Saturn is the one that I love is the one that I love the most, actually, right next to the PlayStation, which is the one that we're mainly going to be focused on today. But I just wanted to show you some of the other cables because more than likely I'm going to have LevelHike watch this video, and the only reason I want them to is because I want to show my gratitude to this company. Because they have been really, really awesome. They provide the best customer service I've ever seen when it comes to video game sellers. You know what I mean? Like, they're really awesome. Usually when you get a cord, they usually pack in a USB cable and an HDMI cable all for you. So every component you need to work with these cables is already like right in the package. But I wanted to show you another one that I got. This one right here is the Sega Dreamcast. Now, the Sega Dreamcast is the hardest one to work with because of how their input works. You see, they're VGA locked in a way, so it's hard for LevelHike to upscale the Dreamcast and make it compatible with all the games. So the Dreamcast is the only one that's so complicated, so I can actually understand why. But if LevelHike, like I said, if LevelHike is watching this video, one of my biggest suggestions that you do is I know there's one for the Microsoft Xbox, but you should do one for the Sega Master System. I'm not sure if it uses the same one as the Genesis, because according to them, I actually DM'd them. They did say that they had an HDMI cable for the Genesis. So we already know that's good, but I'm hoping that they will make an HDMI cable for the NES and the Master System, because one day I do want to get an NES, and I want to make sure that if there is an HDMI cable that can upscale the NES, that I can buy it from LevelHike, because I will definitely give them my money big time, because like I said, these guys have been so awesome. Now on to the main event. So right here is my favorite console of all time, the Sony PlayStation. Right now, it's already plugged in, as you can see. It still works just fine, as you can see. Even though it's funny, it's like I haven't used it in about 10 days, actually, probably more than that. But that's mostly because I wanted to get the cord replaced. Now right here is the HDMI cable for the PlayStation. It works on the PS2 as well. Now, there is one catch though. This cord that I have right here, while it still actually works, even on my Elgato, the problem is that it keeps generating a lot of white noise, which renders the sound like it pretty much makes the sound unbearable to listen to. So I DM'd LevelHike because when you do buy from them, you do get a 1-year warranty on it. So if anything happens to it, if something is like mechanically wrong with it, LevelHike will send you a free replacement. And that's what I did. I DM'd them, and they were kind enough to send me this. The only reason it took me this long to do this video is because it took 10 days for shipping, but that's mostly because of the COVID-19 outbreak. But that's a whole nother. But that's a different topic. But yeah, they were nice enough to send me a whole new one right here. So like I said, if LevelHike is watching this, I want to thank you guys for being so kind to send me this replacement. Like, I literally mean it. Like, you guys are so awesome. So I already cut the tape, so we can just like open this bad boy up, and this is what you'll get inside of the box here. This right here contains, like I said, it contains all the components that you need, including the cable itself. Okay, so we got that situated. Now you might be wondering what else is in here. This right here. Well, first you get this 1-year warranty card, and this is LevelHike's information. So if you ever need to contact them, it's right here. Right here, you can also extend the warranty. You can also extend the warranty by scanning it right here, and then emailing the words and the order number to them, which is awesome. So if you ever want to extend your warranty, you can. Like I said, I would probably recommend you do this because, like I said, if anything's wrong, LevelHike has your back. In fact, there's something written right here, actually. It says right here, "Dear customer, if you have any problems with the cable you get, like weird audio or no audio issue, black signal while you're playing, you probably received the defective cable. Sorry to bring you the inconvenience. However, your purchase is covered by 1-year warranty, so we will arrange the replacement for you with the fastest shipment right away. Please make sure to contact us in advance if you have any problems." Yep, so that's how LevelHike is. So I highly recommend you guys check them out. They're really awesome. And for the record, like I said, I'm not getting paid to advertise them. I genuinely really love this company, so that's why I'm shouting them out this much. So here's what I'm gonna do. First, I'm gonna let you guys hear this cable first, just so that way we can compare the difference. And then right after that, we're gonna test out the replacement cable and see how it differs from this one, and see if the sound is much better, just so that way I can give you a fair comparison and show LevelHike what I'm talking about. So with that being said, my Elgato is right there, because yes, it does work with the Elgato, so I can plug my old systems right into that thing. So we're gonna do that and see how it goes. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are already on the direct capture of the Elgato. Right now, the Elgato has the PS1 plugged into it via the LevelHike HDMI cable. Right now, what you're seeing is the original cable that I bought from them. This isn't the replacement cable yet. This is what you're seeing right here, right now. Like I said, I'm gonna actually show a pretty good example as far as what the problems of the cable is. Like, while the sound, like I said, you can hear sound, the problem is that the white noise is just taken over, and this also becomes a huge problem on certain games that I play, like for example Tekken 3, which I actually might showcase in this video, just to give you guys a better idea of what I'm talking about as far as why I needed this replacement cable in the first place. So what I'm gonna do is that first I'm gonna boot up the system, and then I'll put Tekken 3 in just to make a good example. But here's what we're gonna do though. We're gonna first power on the system. So what you're seeing is the original cable, not the replacement one. So let's take a look at it, and I'll make sure I put these borders up right here. So I'm not sure if you can hear it. It's a little faint. That's because my volume on my Elgato OBS settings are a little low. But you can actually hear the white noise. Here, let me bring it up a little louder. Yeah, this is what you can hear. Okay? So far, you can obviously hear the white noise from the PS1. Now, what I'm going to do is that I am going to put in... So right now, I'm going to put in Tekken 3. And like I said, I'm going to be showing you guys the problems that it has. Like I said, my PS1 works just fine, but don't worry. The sound that you hear is like a like it sounds like it's like this very rough it's like a very rough hissing noise and everything. And it's horrible. Like, it's horrible to listen to. You know what I mean? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now we're on the new cable. This right here is the replacement cable for the PlayStation 1. You might be wondering how come I'm not doing the PS2. Again, that's because I just like to use the PS1 since this is my favorite system. If you guys ever want to see me do PS2, let me know. But otherwise, it functions the same way. But yeah, here's the replacement cable. Now let's see how it sounds in comparison. Right now, I put the volume up at max on the on OBS so that way you can hear it. Because the best way to hear it, especially on video, is if you max the volume up to high. Because on my TV, when I have the system on, especially with the original cable, the white noise was incredibly audible, more so than it is on the Elgato. But here is the replacement cable, which should hopefully not have any white noise, and if there is, it should be very faint. That's funny because on the Sega Saturn and the Nintendo GameCube, I don't hear any white noise on either of them. So it's the PlayStation 1 that I'm mostly concerned about. So with that being said, let's do it. So I'm going to enable the borders on here. Let's power on the system. I will put Tekken 3 in a second, but let's just hear how it sounds. Okay, so the white noise seems to be quite normal, but the good thing about it so far is that the best part about it is that you don't hear like any of that hiss. The hissing that you originally heard on the other one is not there. Now, I'm pretty sure this white noise could also possibly stem from my PS1 itself. I'm not so sure, but what we're gonna do though is that I'm gonna put in a little game here, and this is what it sounds like on regular volume. Like, instead of top volume, here's how it sounds like with my normal settings. Right now I have it on negative 15.2 decibels. So this is what it sounds like. You can literally hear that the white noise, you really can't hear it. You know what I mean? Even though the PS1 is incredibly loud, even at this setting, see, the white noise is not audible. You know what I mean? Like, you can't hear it. So that's great. So if you have it on an extremely loud volume, that makes sense. But the good part about it though is that you don't really hear it. And right now, my headphones is on max volume right now, and like I said, the game right now is still pretty loud, but you can hear the white noise is so barely audible that it's almost like it's not even there in comparison with the previous cable. So that is the good part right there. So I'm going to launch up the practice mode. And I'm going to keep the game playing there for just a little bit. And I don't know if it's just me, but it sounds like the audio sounds a lot better here than the other one, like the high definition audio. As far as visuals go, it's identical. No major difference. The only real difference that I can safely say is that the audio is hella better than the last cable. And let me turn the volume down a little bit, because like I said, the cable is pretty loud, but you can always manage the volume very, very well with the with OBS or whichever recorder you're using. Now, like I said, remember the hissing sound that I told you about? The reason why the hissing sound exists is because when you're playing like a certain game on your PlayStation 1 or whatever, what would happen is that it kind of like, it's almost like an echo of some sort. It's almost like an echo. You know what I mean? Like the audio would attract like this white hissing noise whenever you play your certain games on your PlayStation 1 for a lengthy period of time. And that was something that I noticed when I first around the time when I last live streamed Final Fantasy VII on Twitch. I was like I remember right after I was done with it, and then I started playing some of my PS1 games on my leisure time. I noticed the audio sounded very unusual. I was already like nervous because the white noise was a lot worse than it was before. But then eventually it got to a point where it's like the white noise is so audible that it almost renders the game unlistenable. And that's how the previous cable is. But right here, as you can hear, the audio is a lot better. Now, the only thing is, what about the hissing noise? Like I said, when you play games for a certain amount of time, particularly during music tracks like this one right here that you're listening to right now, as you can hear, we don't really hear it right now, but right now I'm just trying to let the song play for a good period of time before we actually decipher whether or not if this cable really is in better shape in terms of audio in comparison with the previous cable. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the volume up at max, and there we go. There's no hissing. That's right, there is no hissing at all. So that means that the cable actually is in better shape in comparison with the previous cable that I had. Now to their defense, now to LevelHike's defense, it's not their fault that the cord was faulty, because when I first got it, and that was when I did the Sony PlayStation 1 live stream with my friend Nightbond92. Obviously his audio was in the live stream, and we were both commentating over the games that I was playing. But yeah, when I first got the cable, it sounded great, and as you can hear, the white noise is, for one thing, it's barely audible to the point where it's almost like you can't hear it, not unless you turn it to the highest volume possible, like you can on OBS. Like if you turn it to the highest volume, chances are you'll hear it. But if you keep it at a manageable volume, you can't hear it, and that's all that really matters. I don't know why anybody would want to play it on max anyway, but on the lower volume, it sounds great. And usually, like I said, if the music played for a lengthy period of time, it would have been a matter of time before I would have started hearing some hissing on here. But now, I don't hear any hissing at all. So now, as part of SOG reviews, I will also talk about the other LevelHike cables, just so that way people can get a good idea on what the cores look like and how they sound and everything, just as a way of promoting LevelHike's cables, because I feel like the more support that you give them, the higher the possibility it will be for LevelHike to invent more HDMI cables in the future for our old systems. It's only a matter of time before they eventually figure out how to make an HDMI cable for the Atari 2600, provided that they have the technology components to do so. Now it would be very exciting if it can happen. Now I know that's not guaranteed, especially since we already have the Retron 77, which is basically an HDMI version of the Atari 2600 because it works with Atari cartridges and controllers and everything, and even the circuit boarding is identical, just a different casing. But that's about it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. This is your friendly neighborhood reptile signing off, and make sure you guys support LevelHike on Facebook and Twitter. Alright, I'll see you guys later.